joining me today. I'm testing out this flat surface cleaner, the Wojet 20-inch flat surface cleaner. Occasionally I get these emails of people asking me to test equipment out or collaborate in some way. I usually ignore them, but I saw this and I thought, actually, this looks half decent. I wouldn't mind giving it a go. So I said yes, they sent it to me. I'm going to test it out. I'm not being paid to make this video, but they've just sent me the piece of equipment free of charge. So that's it really. Just thought it'd be interesting to try it out for the channel. Normally, I recommend if people want to get started in the industry, having a good supplier that you can that you know is going to be reliable to get equipment from, that's going to be good quality, and you can get good replacement parts and things like that, is always really important. But I also understand that there are people maybe on a budget trying to look for places they can save on their budget when they're just getting started. They're buying everything all at once. So I saw this. This is one of the cheapest kind of professional standard flat surface cleaners that I've seen around. So if you're looking to save a few quid, you want to buy a good pressure washer but save a bit maybe on a flat surface cleaner, this could be a good option. So I'll show you around it anyway. And as you can see, it's a little bit wobbly, but all these parts have gone together nice and easily just with pins that have gone through. This just all screws on by hand, and then at this end all I've needed is a couple of spanners just to attach this part of the hose. But apart from that, it's come with everything needed to put it together, has just come in the box. So initial impressions are that it looks really good and solid and sturdy. All of this is really heavy duty. Underneath here, a little bit of a concern is this big chunky bar underneath that spins round. Now, with all the best will in the world, very occasionally those jets might catch on something, piece of block paving that's sticking up at a funny angle, something like that. So this bar does look a bit more chunky than I'd usually expect. Most flat surface cleaners, it's a bit more slimline. It's easy to replace, so potentially, you know, you could replace that part in time. I'm going to see how it goes. The other adjustment I have just made is the jets. I have just changed the jets. The jets should be specific to the machine, the pressure washer that you're using. I'm using a 21 litre per minute pressure washer, which means that my jets should have a certain size orifice. So I have just changed the jets to make sure that they fit in with the pressure washer that I'm using, and they're the right spec. I think maybe the trigger is maybe an area where they might have saved a bit of money. It does say on here that it's maximum 19 litres per minute. So I'm using a 21 litres per minute machine today. We'll see how we get on, we see how it goes. But the handle, the trigger here does seem a little bit maybe cheaper, on the cheaper side, but considering what the flat surface cleaner costs, you know, that's kind of understandable, I suppose. But the other thing to look out for is the fitting on the end. It's come with a quick release fitting here. This is not one I normally use. These fittings do unscrew, and you can change that for a fitting that does fit in with the tools and the hoses that you are using. I have just got an adapter here which I can just connect, and then I can screw on my regular hose that I normally use. So that's not too much of an issue. But that is something to look out for. If you're buying one of these, you need to make sure that you have a fitting that's going to fit in with the hoses that you're using. So I'm going to clean this area here today. This is a job that I do every year, and it's a bit of a shady area here with the pagoda and all of that. It's all getting a bit green and grubby. So there's an area of steps here which I'll have to do with a gun. I have to do that separately with other tools and attachments. But all of this, we'll give it a go with the flat surface cleaner. It continues all the way down here. We'll see what we can do. So let me just show you the results up close. Notice here there are some places where there's still some moss. Now I'm pretty sure normally my flat surface cleaner would get rid of this, but I was thinking, just looking at this, I think the jets are too far. The surface is here where the edge of the skirt is. The jets are a little bit too far away. I think on my other flat surface cleaner that I normally use, that would be a little bit closer, and that will just make a little bit of difference when you come over those tough bits of moss. So what I'm going to do now anyway is I'm going to get these steps done, because I can't use a flat surface cleaner on there. So I'll get the steps done, I'll get around the edges as well, do some of the detail around there, and then I'll treat all of this with a chemical and rinse it all down. On the rinse I'll make sure I get rid of all of those little details of moss and things like that, make sure it comes up just nice. But it just means I think it's leaving me a bit more work to do with a gun afterwards. I'll carry on down the bottom there and we'll see how we get on down the bottom. Job done. It's all looking amazing. Now it's dried out in the sun. Really good transformation. The final verdict on this, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty solid bit of kit, to be honest. It's kind of well built, although the handle is a bit rickety. That did get a bit annoying at times, getting around some of these fiddly bits. I did feel that the jets weren't quite getting into the surface. Most flat surface cleaners come with 25-degree jets. 25 degree is the width of the fan. So I always replace them and put in 15-degree jets. So 15-degree jets will just concentrate that pressure a little bit, which helps attack the surface a little bit more. Sometimes it gets better results when there's a lot of kind of stubborn moss and dirt in the surface. So that's what I've done here. So I do feel that they're just a bit too far away from the surface than they should be. They should be positioned a little bit closer. You could modify that by, you know, cutting down the skirts. Maybe you could get the wheels positioned a bit higher up so that the whole thing would sit lower to the ground then, and the jets would then be closer to the ground. So yeah, modification there. The most important part of your flat surface cleaner is probably the jets and also the bearing. I forgot to mention that before, but the bearing is an enclosed bearing. Some of the cheaper flat surface cleaners will have a little hole and you have to put grease in there every time you use it. So there's none of that here. So it's low maintenance, it's an enclosed bearing. Now, obviously, I've just tested it on one job, so I'm not going to know how long the bearing is going to last, how robust it is, but you know, looks decent enough. So yeah, I think for a keen DIYer or someone who's starting a business and maybe on a bit of a budget, I think decent way to go. For the money you pay, not bad at all. Pretty robust bit of kit. So just those little things. All that means is the way I'm working here, I like to go over with the flat surface cleaner, and then I'll come back afterwards, getting any detail done with different types of jets, whether it's a turbo nozzle or fan jets, just to rinse down, make sure the surface is nice and clean. So that's the way I normally work. At the bottom of the job, I've switched back over to my usual flat surface cleaner, because that was getting into the surface a little bit better, and I was having to do less of that detail work afterwards. So yeah, that's just something to bear in mind. If you made that little modification, like I'm saying, to get it sitting closer to the ground, then that probably wouldn't be so much of an issue. So don't forget, if you're buying a pressure washer, you need to also think about the litres per minute that the machine delivers. So it's not just PSI, but also litres per minute, those two things in combination, which also dictate the cleaning power that's coming from your machine. So that, in combination with the tool that you're using, the type of jets that are in the tool, how close it sits to the ground, that kind of stuff. So if you are looking to use this in combination with a pressure washer, you'll need to be looking for a petrol driven pressure washer. This one says a maximum of 19 litres per minute, although I've been using 21 litres per minute today. The trigger's held up and it's been okay. But there we go. Hope you found the video useful. Thanks for watching. All the links to the product and my podcast, my training, all of that stuff, all the links are in the description below. Check it out, and hope to catch up with you soon. Take care.